So Top Gun says, could you answer my question about IULs for my kids? Does Allianz have flexibility to stop paying? All the IUL companies basically offer the option to stop paying at some point. You really don't have to make payments at all. You just have to have enough in the policy that it will continue to be able to make the premium payments that are due. And the premium payments that are due is the annual renewable term each year. The difference between your cash value and your death benefit is the amount of insurance that you have to pay for each year. I don't know of any IUL companies that actually stop requiring those premiums if your policy is in force and you haven't triggered your overloan protection rider. So the ability to stop the policy requires triggering that overloan protection rider. The overloan protection rider is available after age 75 typically, or 15 years that you've owned the policy. And what that does is it turns off the premiums. You pull out as much cash value as they will let you pull out as in a loan. You don't withdraw it. You pull it out in a loan, and then you trigger the overloan protection rider. The insurance company guarantees you that they will maintain a minimum death benefit and your policy will not lapse. So the idea behind that is you will not end up with tax consequences from a policy lapsing and suddenly now you owe a bunch of taxes on gains that you had in the policy. So that is possible, but after age 75. Now, insurance costs, the term insurance on all of these is pretty cheap until you get up to about that age. So there isn't really a reason to turn off the ability to put money in prior to that, in my opinion. I also view these policies as retirement type vehicles. So my suggestion is plan on paying it until you want to retire and start pulling money out of it. That's the best way to utilize those policies and ensure that you're going to have awesome cash growth. So hopefully that answers that question. So Top Gun says, that's what I thought. At what point does cash value exceed the term payment? If I paid 15 years worth on your kids and left it to them to take over at 18, does that keep it going? Oh, I see what you're saying. How much? So Top Gun, you're asking me how much growth in the policy before you can stop putting it in and it's going to continue to fund itself. I would think 15 years on a kid. Yeah, you're probably safe there. Really what it boils down to is the yearly cost for the insurance on your kids. If it's likely going to be a pretty small amount, so it'll probably cost like I don't know, $100 a year to cover their cost of insurance. So if you get, $5,000 into your policy, you may be making enough to overcome that amount. Probably though, well, I'd probably say actually 10,000. Probably need about 10,000 in there before you're going to overcome it. So if you're putting in $1,200 a year, 10 years should be fine. Now we tend to see if the index is going to be performing, you will pass a break even at around year 4 or 5 in these policies. If it's performing really well, you could pass your break even in year 2 or 3. I know on my policy I gained 11% the first year and I'm almost broke even already. Who knows where we'll be at next year? Hopefully we'll hit it again the same time. Hopefully we'll get to max that out, but we'll see. What would be the lowest, smallest policy that overfunding would actually make sense? Funding wise, like a starter policy where it's worth your time and you make some money as well. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about my time. What makes it worth my time? I don't worry about that. I design policies, like the smallest policies I design tend to be for kids. And we do it at like $100 to $200 a month, how we set it up to do. And as far as a commission that pays me, I might make a $200 commission because of how we design it. Now, I could easily design it knowing that you're probably not going to access that cash value early for the kids. You're probably not even going to really care that much if 60 years down the road, the cash value difference might be $80,000 difference between a perfectly designed one and one that pays me a lot more commission. Because the policy you're talking at 60 years down the road might be worth $2 million. So 80 grand ain't going to make that big of a difference. I don't look at that. I don't really. You just won't see me design a policy that's going to end up paying me more just because I think my time's worth more. Okay, so I would rather just design it the best for you, and I just do that every single time, and I don't worry about it. The money's going to come in. I will keep selling the policies as long as it's enough to keep the wife happy, and we're good to go. So don't worry about what it means to me. With other agents, it might make a difference. So something to consider. If you have an agent that you really like, and they demand to make more, maybe you're okay doing that, and that's totally fine. I mean, when it comes to small policies that kids do, it's not that much of a difference anyways. I mean, you're talking probably the difference between $200 and $400 or $200 and $600 that the agent brings in. So to me, I don't care which side of that I'm on, as long as the policy is designed good for you guys. It does make a difference down the road, and the way I view it, if we start off with this policy, you're going to expand it later anyways, and that bigger policy, we'll still design it the same way, and you're going to be happy. I'm going to get paid again, and we'll be able to keep the relationship going, and everybody's going to be happy. If you come back later for another policy and I show you a different design that works better, you might be going, well, why didn't you design it that way the last time that we did it? Like, now I'm wondering, whose interest are you looking out for most? Now, if you're upfront about it, if the agent is upfront about it and just says, look, here's the deal. If I can design the policy this way, and it'll pay me $100, and it's going to give you this growth out here. But if I design it this way, you're going to have a little bit less out there, but I actually make enough to compensate myself. If they're upfront about it like that, and you're totally fine with that because you built a relationship and you want to see them, I mean, that's the way I tend to be. If I'm working with somebody like a car salesman, I don't go in there and just beat them up on price and try and get them as low as possible. I used to sell cars a long time ago. I know it's tough. They can make a whole lot of money, but that wasn't what I tried to do. And if it's a really skinny deal, if the dealership's not making much, the salesman isn't going to make hardly anything. I don't mind going in and just paying, if the dealer makes a $500 or $1,000 profit on a car, I'm okay with that. So same situation here with the life insurance. If you're okay with the agent and they're upfront about what they make, and you don't mind having a different design because really 60 years down the road, you're not going to care all that much, awesome, go for it. And the way you know that, the way you can check on how much they're making, it's called target premium. So when you look at the illustrations, it will tell you minimum premium, guideline annual premium, which is your MEC limit, and it'll tell you target premium. There's a couple other things that are in there, but those are the three that are important. Target premium is what the agent's commission is based off of. So the smallest amount that we can design it to perform well like that is probably about like $100 a month. That would probably be something that we can make look good. I know I did that for my daughters. I think the maximum that I was able to put in, even with that design, ended up being a couple $100 a month. But my plan was I wanted to at least be able to put in $100 a month. So we can tighten it up as much as you like when we put these things together. This was a question asked and answered during one of our WealthCare Wednesdays live streams. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or join us on one of our WealthCare Wednesday live streams where you can ask the question and we'll answer it on the air live. I hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time. Now go maximize your cash flow.